Pete is an undercover agent for the FBI field office in New York City. He has worked his way into a polished criminal organization and is currently providing his handler with solid evidence to indict the crime boss, the general. He informs his wife and daughter that they must travel because the long-awaited operation has begun. Pete's handler, Erica, informs her team of the plan for Pete to deliver the 6 pounds of fentanyl to the general, which is where they come in. Pete locks his family in a warehouse and gives his wife the key. If he does not return by 1 p.m. tomorrow, she will leave the state. He meets Erica in a torn-down restroom. She gives him a phone to call and a wire to wear, and if things go wrong, he should ask for a smoke, and Erica's crew will come rescue him. Stasek and Pete greet the ambassador who has the fentanyl batch. They carry out the plan, putting the fentanyl in another bag and dropping the diplomat off at the hotel. Stasek goes to get a bottle of booze for his uncle, the general. He chooses to surprise Pete with cash instead of fentanyl and informs him that he already has a buyer for it. But Pete does not respond to protect his cover. This throws the entire plan for a loop, but Erica still chooses to follow them. At a club, the buyer is hesitant and admits that he doesn't have enough money to buy all 6 pounds, but he's good for 3 of them and can get more money for the other 3, which are worth $85,000, which upsets Stasek. Pete calms him down and begins questioning him about how he intends to raise $85,000 in 2 hours, disbelieving him. When Stasek goes to take a call, Pete confronts him about being a cop and tells him this is his time to go, but the buyer continues to act foolish. He throws him to the ground, telling him all he has to do is leave, but he pulls out a revolver and a badge and Stasek shoots him. Pete is in amazement and claims he needs to go smoke, signaling Erica to come in, but she cancels the arrangement and drives past Pete, leaving him to his own devices. He then helps bag and dispose of the body. Pete is asked to visit the sausage factory and meets the general there. He calmly explains to him that a New York cop was killed, and someone must answer for it if they do not want the NYPD to meddle in matters that are not theirs. Despite the fact that Stasek was the one who killed the cop, the general portrays Stasek as having saved Pete's life, and thus owing him his life's worth. To repay his obligation, he begs Pete to go to prison and run the drug network from the inside for 5 years. To terrify him even further, the general instructs him to think of his family, leaving him with no other option. Pete and his family return home, and he contacts Erica. She tells him she can't get him since it would endanger their 4-year plan and hangs up the phone. He is unhappy that his wife, Sophia, did not leave, but they immediately reconcile, and she assists him in washing off the blood. The police discover the body, and Detective Grenz, who was good friends with him, sets out to uncover the perpetrator. He immediately learns that his friend's death is linked to a polished gang, and he discovers video evidence linking Pete's involvement to it. Pete, Erica, and her employer, Montgomery, meet and inform Pete that he is in major trouble. They have tried to hide everything, but to no effect. He wants to leave, but they want to follow the general's plan and lock him up. If he accumulates enough proof in state prison concerning the fentanyl distribution network, he will be released. However, if he refuses, he would be exposed as an undercover agent and sentenced to prison for the death of an undercover police officer, leaving him with little choice. Back at home, Pete stores the recordings of his chat with Erica in a box. In the morning, Stasek pays him a visit and provides him some fentanyl to help him slip into prison. Pete tells Sophia about his new covered assignment. He spends the entire day with his daughter, noting the layout of the institution. When they come home, a polished gang and the general pay him a visit. He claims that he has no children because he cannot bear to lose them. With that, he indicates to Pete that he had to maintain his half of the bargain or face the consequences. Grenz has been watching Pete's residence and informs his buddy that the general has left the house. The next day, Pete plays the abusive husband, while Sophia contacts the police to have him arrested. Grenz witnesses Pete being carried away. In prison, Pete is greeted pleasantly by a crooked guard and led to his bunk bed. It is surrounded by African Americans, but one of the prisoners pays the guard to free 2 bunk beds for his lads, ensuring Pete's safety. During the night raid, the warden approaches Pete and, at Erica's request, places him in a cleaning program. Pete becomes familiar with his polished jail gangmates and is handed a shiv to prepare for an impending brawl. Grenz pays a visit to Erica and asks for information on Pete, but she plays stupid. Montgomery enters and attempts to mediate the situation by stating that they have no relationship to Pete. However, after showing them photographs of Pete and Erica shot by a security camera on the day Grenz's buddy died, He warns them that there will be a conflict between the FBI and the NYPD, and that they will be in serious trouble if they are linked with Pete. Sophia follows Pete's directions on how to deliver the goodies to the prison, and using the drone, lands the bird on the prison's roof. Pete cleans the roof in the morning as part of the cleaning schedule and successfully retrieves it. Grenz goes to Sophia's job to learn more about Pete. At this point, he's unsure whether Pete is the perpetrator. Sophia tells him he can't assist them and to get the hell out. Grenz leaves her his card so she can contact him if she changes her mind. Grenz then contacts with Pete through one of his informants, telling him that he will no longer have his gang in the yard, and that if he wants to survive, he must signal his willingness to discuss the undercover cop's death. The crooked officer brings Pete to Phelps, an African-American gang boss who dominates the prison's drug trade and believes Pete is infringing on his territory. Phelps and his men attempt to kill Pete, but he reveals that he is an undercover FBI spy who wants to bring down the general. He is subsequently released, and Phelps agrees to give him with information if he is still alive. Meanwhile, back at the FBI headquarters, Montgomery tells Erica to assassinate Pete and halt all operations involving the general because Grenz is hard on their tails, and Pete is an unofficial informant. If the NYPD finds what transpired in the room where the undercover cop was shot, she would lose not just her profession but also her life. If she doesn't cooperate, Montgomery promises she'll be the sacrificial lamb because she's trying to please her bosses and going overboard. Pete takes a leak at night. He is on edge when one of Phelps' men approaches him and gives him the names of the guys who run the prison's distribution network. Later, he phones Erica and tells her that he has worked out the general's entire network and needs her to help him out since he is in danger. However, Erica declines because she has been told to take him out and would rather save her own skin. Pete places another call to Sophia. He instructs her to turn over the tapes of his interactions with Erica to Grenz and depart the state. Erica turns to the general's counsel, who informs her that Pete is an undercover agent. She confronts Sophia and steals the videos. The FBI overheard her phone call with Pete. Erica, overwhelmed with remorse, listens to the records and hears her promise to protect Sophia and their kid. In prison, one of Phelps' men reports that he has been burned. He's ready to battle, but his ship is missing. While looking for it, he is assaulted by a Polish gang member. Pete manages to overpower him and strangles him. He appears on video to notify the guards. When the corrupt guard arrives, Pete captures him and demands to speak to the press and his wife. He then finds his way to a deserted tower and defeats the guard. He takes the radio to see whether his demands are met and marks the lookout angles from the windows based on his former training as a U.S. Army sniper. Meanwhile, Stasek confronts Pete's family, who were recently on the phone with Detective Grenz. Grenz soon arrives at Pete's residence and eliminates one of Stasek's men. He makes his way up the stairs and is shot in the leg. He doesn't shoot back since Stasek has a hostage and loses his gun for hesitating. As Stasek is ready to finish off Grenz, Sophia manages to break free and shoot Stasek in the back before being shot herself. At the prison, snipers have taken up positions and Montgomery comes on the scene, ready to issue the order to shoot Pete at the first opportunity. The warden is there to accommodate Pete's needs. Pete contacts his wife to inform her he is going to get out of this position. Montgomery ends the conversation. Pete appears to take the guard captive for the snipers and swaps clothes with him. He then wakes him up, allows the corrupt guard to take him prisoner, and reveals himself to the snipers who shoot and puncture one of the CO2 tanks. Pete gets to escape, but the tank explodes. Erica arrives shortly after and discovers the prison in fire. Montgomery informs her that the job is over. When the firefighters carry Pete to the ambulance in the guard's outfit, she recognizes him and enters with him. After all, she aims to assist Pete by fabricating a hostage situation. She hands him a note and a phone, and he runs away. Some time later, Erica encounters Montgomery on a ship and claims to knowing Pete's location. He openly orders her to kill him, but it is all a setup, as Erica has been wiretapped and has alerted the NYPD about Montgomery's shady operations, and he is arrested. Pete wishes to meet up with his family, but when Erica observes him, she informs him that there are many undercover agents on the scene. Grenz approaches him and hands him bogus documents from Erica, telling him he needs to hide for a time until things settle down. Before returning to his hiding place, he makes one final glance at Sophia. The end. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to watch more videos like this.